If you're here, you've probably come from our NFC media player video over on the Stockpot. If not, I'd suggest watching that video first to get some additional context. In this video, I'll be taking you through assembling and programming your own cartridge player. This video will be divided into a few chapters to make it easier to follow. First, we'll go through all the components you need, the 3D prints and hardware. Second, we'll go through assembling the electronics, and then I'll show you how to assemble your player. And lastly, how to program it and set up your automations in Home Assistant. If you haven't had a look already, head over to the blog post and have a read. You'll find all the YAML, print files, and templates there when you need them. This is a nice simple project. You only need a few parts to make it work. As far as electronics go, you'll need an ESP32S30 dev board, an RC522 NFC dev board, some lengths of hookup wire, a 25mm NFC sticker for each cartridge, a buzzer if you want one, and a USB-C cable. Then you'll need some hardware. 2 10mm countersunk M3 machine screws, 4 10mm cap head machine screws, some small pieces of double-sided mounting tape, and some rubber feet. All of the electronics and hardware are available in a kit from the website if you'd like to save yourself some time and get everything you need in one go. If not, the bill of materials is available on the blog post for this project. Once you've got your hardware together, you'll need your 3D prints. All the files are available over on Printables. All the parts should be correctly oriented when you import them into your slicer. The top of the player requires some support in the opening, as you can see here. I use support painting to ensure they're only in the correct spots. The cartridge pocket requires supports on the latch part, which again I paint in the correct place. You can't use automatic supports as there's some intentional bridging for the arrows on the cartridges and on top of the player. Once all your parts are printed and you have a couple of cartridges ready to go, we're ready to put everything together. Assembly of the electronics for this project is very simple. We just need 6 approximately 50mm lengths of hookup wire. There's a wiring diagram on the blog post that you'll need to follow, but put simply, we need to connect the SDA, SZK, MOSI, MISO, 3.3 volt and ground wires between the ESP and the NFC board. I cut my wire to length and strip just 3 or 4mm of insulation from each end. Then I tin the wires and all the pads on the ESP I was planning to use. Again, there's a wiring diagram on the blog post. Make sure you follow it carefully because the prepackaged code won't work if you get it wrong. Then, one by one, I attach my wires to the correct pads on the ESP. Then I solder them all to the NFC module, but this time by sticking them through the holes on the PCB from the bottom and soldering from the top. Lastly, solder your buzzer to GPIO2 and the ground pad. You don't need the buzzer, but it can be helpful for some feedback from your automations. Your finished electronics should look something like this. Now we need to put the whole player together. First up is assembling the cartridges. The cartridges can be printed in whatever filament you'd like. Some filaments might be more difficult to assemble than others, so I'll show you the method I've used that has worked for every filament I've tried. Take your printed cartridge pieces and stick your NFC tag in place inside the bottom component. Bring the two halves together, one side at a time, and using firm pressure, clip them together. They're quite a tight fit intentionally, which can cause issues with stiff filaments. I've found gently pushing the tabs in using a tool of some kind can help get the halves together. Just don't press too hard because you'll break the clip. The cartridges are designed to be permanently latched into place once assembled, so don't expect to get them apart again. And feel free to glue them together if you want them to be extra secure. Once together, you can attach your sticker to the front. Next is assembling the player itself. You'll need your player top, bottom, and pocket components, and all your hardware and electronics. Start by removing all the supports from the opening in the top and from the cartridge pocket. Take the bottom half of your player and, using a screwdriver, clear out the thin plastic over the player screw holes ready for the screws to go through. Attach a small piece of mounting tape to your ESP module and press it into place with the USB-C port through the hole at the back of the player. Use another piece of double-sided tape to attach your buzzer in the corner of the bottom piece. It needs to be hard up against the corner to clear everything, so make sure you get it right in there. Carefully route your wires around the mounting posts and position your NFC module over the ESP. Using two of your 10mm cap head screws, fix your NFC module in place, making sure the NFC graphic is facing up. Your wires should exit out the bottom. Put the bottom half of your player aside for now and grab the top of your player and the cartridge pocket. Slide the pocket into place inside the top part. The flange on the pocket should be a nice tight fit. Take your countersunk M3 screws and screw them in from the front while holding the cartridge pocket in place as you do. Now we can join the two halves of the player. Bring the two halves together and use your remaining cap head screws to secure them through the holes in the bottom. Lastly, attach your rubber feet to the bottom of the player so it doesn't slide around, and you're all done. Now we just need to install some software. If you brought a kit with the ESPHome config pre-installed, you can skip this next section. Otherwise, grab a USB-C cable and a computer. To install your software, make sure you download the latest factory firmware file from the blog post. Then go to web.esphome.io. Click Connect and plug your player into the computer. Select your player from the list and click Install. Click Choose File and select the downloaded factory file. Click Install and wait a couple minutes for your software to be installed. If you want to make some tweaks or additions, all the code is available on the Stockpot GitHub for you to play with to your heart's content. To get your device connected to your network, connect to Cartridge Player Hotspot on your phone or PC with the password TheStockpot, and then visit 192.168.4.1. Once you're there, select your network and enter the password. After a few minutes, your new device should pop up in Home Assistant. Now, on to the automations. Once your device is added to Home Assistant, have a look at it in your device menu. When you insert a cartridge, you should see a cartridge ID in the ID field, and cartridge present should switch to on. We'll use this ID as a condition to choose which media to play back in our automations. You can build your automations however you'd like, but this is the method I've used entirely in the Home Assistant UI. I create a new automation and select Entity and then State for the trigger. I choose cartridge present as the entity and from off to on as the state change I'm looking for. This will trigger the automation to start anytime a cartridge is inserted. Then I add a choose building block and choose the cartridge ID as the entity and set the state to the cartridge ID I copied from the device page. Then you just need to add your desired steps to the actions section. This depends on the player integration you're using, but I've included some examples in the blog post you can use as a starting point if you're using an Android TV like me. You'll find more documentation in your media player's integration on Home Assistant. If you're not using Android TV, you might have to hunt around for how to do this with your particular application. I've done something similar with the Apple TV and the built-in apps on my TV before, so I can't guarantee it, but it should be possible with almost any setup. You can add as many conditions as you'd like, so just repeat these steps until you've added all your cartridges. I've also added a beep every time the cartridge is detected and recognized by adding a press button action tied to the beep entity on the player. Lastly, I added a wait for trigger action to wait for the cartridge present state to change to off, and then hit stop on the player, so the media stops as soon as it's removed. You can add whatever you like to these automations. You can have the TV be automatically turned on whenever a cartridge is inserted, or you could dim the lights when movie cartridges are put in the player. Whatever you'd like. Like anything in Home Assistant, your imagination is the only limitation. Congratulations! You've got your very own digital but physical media player and all the tools you need to put together your own automations to go with it. I hope you enjoy using it and that it brings some nostalgic joy to your life. Tutorials usually perform really poorly on YouTube, so please leave this video a like and let me know what kinds of automations you're using your player for. I'd love to hear about it. And subscribe to the Saucepan for more of these little side projects I get up to. Thanks a bunch for watching, and if you haven't seen it, check out the Everything Remote project for another DIY electronics Home Assistant project. I'll catch you next time.